Well, hey, welcome back to hour number 2. This is Tampa Home Talk. Thanks for joining us. And maybe you're already at work. Hopefully you turned us on at work. Or if you're still in the car hanging out with us, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. And we gave away some Renaissance Festival tickets the last hour. Pat, do we have more left?
I think we probably have at least one pair.
Oh, we have a pair of Renaissance Festival tickets left.
From the last hour, so Adam can have that pair, and we can give out more this hour.
Yes.
If Adam's never been there, he needs to go because that I went last weekend. It was the best. It is a lot of fun, and the thing that I can't always believe is that they continue to do jousting, and they knock these guys off the horses with these jousting sticks. Yes,
it's all scripted though. I mean, they hit the shield, and the guy's like still on the horse, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to fall off the horse now."
And I bet you don't believe wrestling is real either.
They also do the battle chess, which is their version of wrestling, and it's always fun to watch. But yes, it's fake.
And then they have a comedy show where the guys jump in the mud. Not to mention they have a bunch of delicious food.
Yes, they do.
But
mead.
But if I can give a shout out, The Wheel of Death, that show, the guys from Gibsonton, he's phenomenal. The show's very funny. And he's basically climbing on top of a 30-foot tall spinning wheel. Oh,
I've seen that, I think. Yeah, that's pretty great.
I love that show.
Is that real? Do you think that's real?
No, it's definitely real.
Or is that an optical illusion?
No. I see the show every time I'm in Red Fair. It's very real.
It's nice.
Yeah. All right, so if you missed the last hour, what you should know is home sales are down 4.2%. So we're moving.
If your house doesn't burn down.
If your house doesn't burn down like Pat George's almost did.
Or flood.
We're in a shifting market. We got a 3.6 month supply of homes in the greater Tampa Bay area, which means it's going to take a little bit longer to sell your home. We're going to have some more competition, which means more competition means a lower price. So keep that in mind. All right, Pat, so tell us your dryer story. We ran out of time, didn't we, last hour?
Well, yeah, the dryer stopped drying. All of a sudden, it was just cold air coming out, and I said, well, the heating element is out, so let me get on YouTube and figure this out. So I did, and I figured out how to open up the dryer, and when I opened up the dryer to get to the heating element, I could not even see it. I couldn't see this. I couldn't see anything. It was just covered in lint. The entire inside of the dryer was covered with lint everywhere. And as a matter of fact, they said to make sure you have a shop vac when you do this so you can maybe get some of the lint. Well, I not only needed a shop vac, I needed a rake. There was so much lint in here, and every time we do a load of clothing, we always pull out that little dryer vent thing, and you pull it out, the screen, and you wipe it off, and you think you're safe. Well, I'm telling you that is not true, because there was a big ball of lint that when I cleaned it off, it was the motor. The motor was covered in lint. The heating element was covered in lint. Some of the lint had already caught fire. And when I did finally clean it all out, I had it on the ground. And if you can imagine how big it is, I posted a picture on Facebook. It was the size of a Krispy Kreme box, and it was about the same thickness. And all of that was inside the dryer, doing absolutely nothing. But it caused so much damage that it caused parts to go bad because it was overheating. And I was probably 2 loads away. And when I went to get the part, he said, I'm surprised your house did not burn down. And one of the leading cause of houses on fire, and they always start in the attic, are because of dryer lint. And a lot of that venting, and I know you know this, Leo, that the dryer vent goes up through the attic and it gets all clogged up, and there you go.
Now, Pat, tell our listeners the good news. I know, they're probably sitting here, oh, gosh, my wife's going to make me clean out the dryer this weekend, but tell them there is a light at the end of the tunnel. How much money did you make?
I found $78 in change also.
I don't understand that.
And a necklace that had been missing for 2 years.
Wow. That's a big win.
And all of it's honest to goodness truth. And now, here's the other thing.
I found a Picasso.
It used to take 45 minutes to dry clothing.
Oh, it's going to dry quick now.
Last night, 21 minutes.
Did you change the heating element too? Or no?
I never had to. There was nothing wrong with it. It was just a little sensor that went out that overheated because there was so much lint on it.
Now, how do you know it took 21 minutes? Usually I set the dryer up, I walk away for like a couple hours, and I come back.
Well, no, because it said, I put it on express dry just to check it, to see how well it would work. and they'd set for 21 minutes, and I always put it on 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 23 minutes, 21 minutes. It was done.
So if your clothes are taking too long to dry.
Well, that's one of the things we tell people. If the clothes take too long to dry, you probably need to clean out your lint trap.
It was the most unbelievable mess, and I cannot impress on the fact enough that there's companies that do this. So call a professional company; they'll do it for about $100. It's worth it. If not, there's only 2 little screws you have to take off the front of your dryer. Pull it, and first thing you need to do is make sure you turn it off or unplug it.
Pat, I can guarantee you the $100 is a lot cheaper than your insurance deductible.
Exactly.
Yep. Not if Adam puts up your insurance. Your deductible is $50.
No, it's not.
It depends on the policy now. If you want to pay $50, it's
going to cost you dearly.
Rate probably wouldn't be worth it. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't suggest that.
I wouldn't either.
I'm a fan of higher deductibles, but you have to have that money.
Yes.
If you need to make a claim, which hopefully you never do. But that's why insurance is there. Now, if you didn't hear the last hour, we are having our picnic in the park this Saturday at the beautiful Fort DeSoto. I don't think it's going to rain. I think we're going to dodge it.
Yeah, the rain's supposed to be
in the
beginning of the week.
And Pat's going to bring all the lint that he just found, plus the $78 for
What time is picnic
beverages
in the park with Katrina?
It's from 12 to 4 tomorrow. We're going to be out there, so come on by. If you've never been to Fort DeSoto, this is your perfect opportunity to come.
And you can bring dogs out there, correct?
Yeah.
You can bring dogs, but they have reported cases of distemper. So we were actually going to camp there and take our dogs. And then we're like, no, I don't think we're going to take the dogs. And then I couldn't even get in. I tried at 7 a.m. this morning, and I could see all the campsites popping up, and I couldn't get one site reserved.
Do you know why it is so busy, Katrina? It is spring break. You planned a picnic on spring break.
Down the beach.
We should have a lot of people there, right?
Yes, we will. And I just can't wait to ride on the interstate tomorrow.
I just should
all that traffic.
I should have booked my my camp reservation earlier. So
You just can't dodge the traffic. Strawberry Festival, Ren Fair, spring break at the beach. I mean, it's in all
St.
directions.
Patrick's Day,
we
River
have
of
so
Green,
many things
River
to
of Green.
do. That's
Wait,
why.
River of
why
Green is on Sunday or
people need to-
Saturday?
It's on Saturday.
Oh,
Is it Saturday?
You're up against River of Green.
Well, it was planned for a while. It was St. Patty's weekend, so make sure you guys are safe. And then what we're going to talk about this hour, and before we jump in, I'll give you our off-air number. It's 813-377-2775. So if you got any questions on any of this, you want some information, trying to figure out where to start. If you want to sell your home, we're really good at that. 813-377-2775. If you're looking to buy your first home, we can help you with that too. 813-377-2775. And you can call or text that number. So when is the official start of hurricane season?
June 1st. And you know when the best time to start preparing for hurricane season is?
Right now.
Right now, right before tax season.
Now that you're listening to Tampa Home Talk, we're going to give you some tips on this. And before we jump into hurricane season, it's probably a great time to talk about flood insurance again.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, something that most of the applications now make you sign it, but if you're not paying attention to what you're signing, most people don't know that flood insurance is not part of your homeowner's policy in most cases. So, and if you're waiting...
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
We know it because we're in it, but I'm really curious to know, what percentage of people don't know?
They don't know until they have a claim, and then they realize they don't have any coverage.
And do you guys know what the best way to keep floodwaters out of your home is?
Yes, we do.
What do you...
A wall.
No. To keep floodwaters out of your home, assuming the wall has failed, the best way to keep is to have your home elevated.
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah. But if you already bought your home, it's elevated where it's elevated, right?
Oh, yeah. It's elevated. It's elevated. But the higher the home, the drier the home.
That's right. Yep. So, and you can look at that on the FEMA 100-year flood map.
Did you think I was going to reuse content 2 hours in a row?
I thought you were. I thought you were going there. All right. So one of the tips that we give, and Adam, I would have no idea how to do this, but it says learn about your carrier's procedure to quickly file a claim. So how would you know that?
Call your agent.
So call your insurance agent.
Call your
They'll
agent,
guide you through
or
it.
if you look, again, nobody reads those big packets that get sent out to them, but there usually is a lot of good content on there as far as what to do when it comes to filing a claim. And in some cases, depending on the carrier, it's in your contract that you have to call them first. So
really?
make sure that you're reading your policy, and you
have to call the agent first.
No, you got to call the carrier first
instead of the agent.
I mean, you can call us and we can advise you. hey, if it's just a fence and your hurricane deductible is $12,000, you should go to Home Depot and build your own fence.
All right, so
but, you know,
when we come back after the break, let's talk about why that's in there and they want you to call them first, because there's a reason.
absolutely.
Right? And then we'll talk about reviewing your policy, some little tips, including choosing the right deductible and a couple of other little information.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the waiting period on a flood policy too.
Oh, that's a great one. All right, and don't forget, there's a bunch of stuff shaking up right now in Congress and with the National Flood Insurance Program. As always, there's been a Band-Aid on that for a while. So that is what it is, but you can count on the fact that we will keep you updated on that as things change. So you can reach us at our off-air number. Just call or text 813-377-2775. Call or text 813-377-2775.
Good morning. Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. This is Leo Cannyn sitting next to Adam Talley and Katrina Madewell, and we are here to tell you more about the hurricane season that's impending and what you can be doing now to prepare for it, because things like getting your tree trimmed is hundreds of dollars cheaper now than 2 months from now.
Oh, yes, it is. It's so funny. You were complaining about our music and bumpers and all that stuff, but when it changes, you won't know we're back live.
That happened. Like Pat, when we were when you were gone that one week, Pat was messing with us with the bumper music when we were coming back, and there was one that sounded like a car commercial, so we just sat there. And it sounded just like a car commercial. He's like, "Why did you talk?" I'm like, "Why did you change our bumper music?"
So the more we change, the more we mess you guys up. We should do it totally just for fun.
Yeah, then there'd just be silence. And there's nothing worse for a radio, and I know this from like the past 20 years, there's nothing worse than silence, because people tune in that brief second, they don't hear anything, and they keep scanning, and they never come back to your station.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question? It's so funny that what you're talking about today. I'm going through some paperwork, and as you're talking about flood insurance, I'm looking at paperwork, and it says I don't have flood insurance on my policies. But I also just came across something that said my inspector booklet that I just found from 1994, April 6, 1994.
They gave those out then?
I guess, yeah. Advocate Property Services. Now, is that still would this still be good to keep? I mean, being that old?
Well, no.
Get you a new one.
Predates the Florida Building Code.
Okay, so I mean, and I've had this since 94, and I'm just going through and purging things. So I can just toss something like this. Yeah,
if you need a new book, you can have one of our books that we published a couple of years ago on how to maintain your home.
Well, no, this is my actual inspection.
Well, hopefully you've done a few updates in
the
past
hopefully
25 years.
Your roof is new, your AC is new, your water heater's new.
Let me tell you, I don't know when, but at some point Pat is going to sell his home, and when he does, we're going to have fun with that one.
You know what, Pat? You should keep that, and you should put that in the seller's disclosure.
Okay.
No, you don't want to know. You don't want people knowing you've been one of those people that have been in your house for 30 years.
All right.
Why?
Well, then it goes to the shredder today.
Shredder.
Why?
It's just another level of defect that we start looking for because you just live with defects. Pat, how many things are wrong in your house that you know of that you just live with because
one less after last night?
Yeah, one less after last night. Like.
The dryer is the only thing that's right now.
Yeah, like outlets that don't work.
Oh, I was going to ask you about
that. You have tape that you just know.
No, I was going to ask you about that. I'm glad you brought that up because my wife said the other day, she said, after you fix this dryer, can you fix the outlets? Because there are some outlets that I plug in and the top one works, but the bottom one doesn't.
See, it's exactly what I'm talking about.
What is that?
People,
what do I need to do for that?
People just live with these defects. They know that the wiring is maybe shorted out, or in this scenario, maybe it's just not grounded. What you need to do is Pat. You need to get yourself one of those $8 or $9 outlet testers. You can get it from Amazon, the Depot.
I know I have that. Yeah, I know they're not working. But why is it working? Is it because I've been plugging in things for 26 years now, and the metal contacts have just worn out?
Yeah, that could happen. I mean, it happens over time in these older houses, and that's a prime condition of why when I hear someone's been in a house for 30 years, I cringe because I guarantee you're just living with it. You're not going to disclose all these things.
No.
And then we're just going to stumble into it during the home inspection for the buyer.
But, I mean, if I just replace that with an outlet switch, pull it out, turn the power off, pull it out, and replace it, it should be fine.
Yeah, replace the duplex, it should be fine. Loose wires, wire connections. There's a bigger issue here, though. If your top duplex works and your bottom one doesn't, are your wires loose? Are they shorting out? Could you electrocute yourself when you're plugging stuff in and out of the outlet because of that configuration? So that could be your next fire defect.
Okay.
I just saved your life.
Pat, do us all a favor. Go when you're out at whatever store getting this little tester thing. Can you also get yourself a fire extinguisher? Because between your dryer and your outlets, I worry about you, man.
I have those, but they haven't been. We messed around with them once, and we haven't refilled them.
Oh goodness, Pat!
They have to be recharged every other year.
You're killing me. Weren't you a police officer?
That's why I made friends.
Things?
That's why I made friends with the fire department, so they'll get to my house quickly.
Yeah, but the best fire protection best fire prevention is preventative maintenance or something like that.
You're exactly right about that.
So going into the hurricane stuff, because we do want to actually cover that.
So Pat, do you have plywood to put up over your windows for hurricanes? Do you already have your pre-drilled?
I did, but after a while I let it stay outside. It got warped and I threw it away. But I have nothing like that now.
It's nothing.
It's a good idea, but you're not required, right, on your policy to board up?
No, I mean I would recommend it if you really are worried about it. Like when Irma was looking like it was going to come right over us,
and plywood was $200 a sheet.
Yeah, well,
I'm not allowed to do that.
Yeah,
but anyway, so that here's the thing: if somebody has a claim, like a major claim, not only is that really traumatic, but if they don't have enough coverage, it's going to be even more traumatic.
And if they don't have enough documentation of what they had to begin with.
Which happens so much. Like, we should create a checklist or something so that people can...
Yeah, and I would take photos, and I would put them on the cloud someplace where you can access it no matter what happens.
So it's not a bad idea
devices.
to do a YouTube video that's timestamped before a storm rolls in?
That's what I did.
You?
When I thought Irma was coming right over us and where I was living at the time, I didn't think it was going to still be there.
See, we weren't even here. We missed the whole thing, Pat. Oh, he's gone.
He left. He went to go get coffee.
He's going to Lowe's or Home Depot.
Bring donuts.
Yeah, that was the one thing I did before Irma was rolling through. Basically, 3 weeks before Irma rolled through, I walked through my entire house. I took 400 photos. I take pictures of the model numbers and the serial numbers of all my electronics. I took a whole series of photos. So after Irma came through, I took another 100 photos, and I used those to file my claim.
So how do you know how to choose the right deductible, Adam?
So, when it comes to hurricane deductible, right, the most common that we see is 2%. And where they're getting that 2% from is based on your dwelling limit. So if you have a $300,000 limit for your dwelling, 2% deductible, you're looking at $6,000 out of pocket.
Katrina, I'm talking to you off air. Mark Steckman is here, but do not use his name.
We do have a few carriers that will do just a straight dollar amount deductible. So say $1,000 or $2,500, something like that. So those options are out there. But be mindful of what your deductible is, because like we alluded to going out of the break, I believe, if you have like a small fence damage or something, it's probably not going to be a $6,000 claim. You're better off going out and fixing that on your own.
So let me ask you this, Pat. Do you know how much your deductible is if you had a house fire and your dryer burn?
Absolutely not. I was trying to go over that. I can't tell you one thing I have covered or anything in my home insurance. Nothing.
So most common non-hurricane deductibles we see are either going to be $1,000 or $2,500.
I know mine's $1,000 from when my retaining wall got hit by a drunk driver in a stolen vehicle.
$2,500 or $5,000.
Yours is probably, I would assume, $2,500.
Probably.
If I had to guess.
A little bit more of a risk taker.
Well, and, it's good to ask what the difference in premium would be if you're changing your deductibles, because some carriers I can take you from $1,000 to $2,500, and it's only going to decrease your policy by like $40. Probably not worth it.
Well, since you got me better coverage and you got me better premium for my office building when it renews in the summer, I'll have to let you know.
Yeah.
So, Pat, did you manage to round up a guest that knows a little bit about these dryer vent things?
I think I did. I think I have him here, and he has his own company.
All right. So, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. So, did Pat show you the pictures of his dryer?
I saw him on Facebook. Yeah. That's bad.
Is that what you guys do?
Yeah, it is. Of course, we start with the dryer transition duct and the entire dryer vent. But yeah, that's pretty bad. Pat's situation was really bad.
How old do you think Pat's dryer was to have that much lint built up?
Well, it depends on the amount of use it has. You know, I mean, there's some families of 4 or 6 that could be a year.
Well, we have the guy over at QIK. He's got 5 kids, and I showed him the picture.
Oh, yeah.
He's only been living in his house a couple of years. He said, I guarantee mine's just as bad because we do 10 loads a day.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that play into that. You know, I mean, if you're a family of 4, a family of 6, and you go swimming, go to the beach, you know, kids playing sports, that kind of thing. They wash the laundry a lot of towels. Or if you have pets, you know, that's another thing.
Okay, so we have five of us in the house plus 3 pets. We do a ton of laundry.
Oh, yeah, it can get really bad. You know, the biggest thing, Katrina, and I know you know this because you're a realtor, but the roof hood has a little flapper on the inside of it. And if hair, whether it's human or pet hair, gets kind of lodged in and around the pins that hold that flapper in place, what happens is all that lint, especially during the rainy season, builds up at the exhaust of the hood, you know, the exit. And what'll happen is as that hood clogs, the vent itself, the entire vent, whether it goes, you know, down through the wall or out the wall or whatever it is from the roof, will start to backfill, and then the dryer itself will backfill as well.
Now, how on earth would you possibly know that as a homeowner? Like, would there be anything you could see?
Well, you know, there's a variety of things. When I or any of my guys go into a house, first thing we do is we pull the dryer out, and you can tell by the amount of dust and lint that's behind the dryer if, number one, if there's a hole in the transition duct, which that happens in those foil flexible ducts, or if it's not connected properly. But if it's all connected and there's no holes, it'll start backfilling into the area of the dryer and in the laundry room. That's a real good sign to start with. But if it hasn't been done in 18 to 24 months, it needs to be done.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Just text the word dryer to 813-377-2775. We'll get you hooked up with our special guest that can help you figure out what the heck is going on in that dryer vent lint system process there. 813-377-2775. Text dryer. We'll get you hooked up. What does that cost?
You know, each home's situation is different, but typically anywhere
stick
from
around.
about...
Hold on.
Did you know that some
to Tampa Home Talk. I am Adam Talley with Talley Insurance, and I am joined by Katrina Madewell and Leo Cannyn. And today we're talking about getting ready for hurricane season. And when we left off, we were talking about deductibles. And I did want to give one little tip out there to our listeners that might be business owners is look at your business policy, because I find a lot of times, especially in Hillsborough and Pinellas, that people don't realize they don't have wind coverage on their commercial property policy.
Oh, that's a good one.
And
before we go back into
definitely something to look at.
We've got a lot to cover, so just hold that thought for 1 second, because I want to finish up with Pat's little sidebar dryer debacle that he had yesterday. And I think we still have a guest in the studio, right? Pat?
Yes, and he can only be here a couple more minutes because he just got a call to clean 6 vents because of your show.
Oh, great. Okay. All right. So you can find him at dirtydryerventcleaning.com, but we'll post, again, all the information, give you their info. Just text dryer to 813-377-2775, 813-377-2775. So I was trying to ask you before the break how much that cost.
Yeah, you know, every situation's a little different. Single story, 2-story, whether it's been cleaned professionally in the last 18 months or not. But
let's say the answer is no to that question.
But I'm always going to say yes if I'm the. Have you cleaned your vent the last 18? Yeah, of course.
Well,
does it give me a discount?
When we get there, we'll tell. Generally, Katrina, it's $99 to $125, and then we go kind of from there, and it just depends on the amount of work.
So again, it's cheaper than your deductible.
No doubt. Yeah. Well, you know what? I got into the business several years ago when our dryer was not working. We had a brand new dryer we had bought, and the dryer itself stopped drying it in single load, so in a single cycle. And so, you know, we cleaned the vents, and then, you know, a neighbor found out and said, hey, can you come clean our vents? And then we had done it for family and then some other friends, and next thing you know, doing it.
So when you clean that, walk me through, like, visually describe what that looks like. Like, what are you cleaning exactly? Stuff from the roof down?
Yeah, no, actually, so what we do is we pull the dryer out first, disconnect the transition duct. We'll take the transition duct outside. Usually we get a little fun. We find lots of things in those transition ducts. You go to our Facebook page, you'll see we've even found money in there, so that's kind of funny. But anyway, so what we do is we'll clean the dryer itself. We do not take the dryer apart typically, but we will clean all the visual areas, front, back, inside, in below the vent and the screen. And then the transition duct we do clean out completely unless the homeowner just wants to have it completely replaced.
And you can't imagine the world of difference of airflow.
It's amazing, yeah.
How do you get all that stuff out from the roof?
Well, so hang on. So then what we do is we hook up a rotary brush unit to along with a vac. Now, typically I'll run the rotary brush without the vac first, from the down where the dryer hooks up. So we're working inside the house at this point. And we'll run that dryer or that rotary brush up all the way up through the venting all the way to the exterior exit, and we'll work it up and then back, and it just pulls all that stuff out of there. Then I'll run it a second time. It's a little bit overkill, but with a high suction vacuum, and at the same time we're doing the rotary brush again. So we do it twice to get it completely thoroughly cleaned. Also, we'll start off, by the way, at the generally at the exit to clean out that flapper at the hood.
How long does that take to clean it?
Yeah, about 90 minutes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, the first thing you do is after it's been cleaned, you'll get scared to death because you start smelling something burning.
Well, so if you go to our Facebook page, Pat, Dirty Dryer Vent Cleaning, you'll see we've posted videos. There's a couple of units out there. GE has one in their builders out there, especially in like Land O'Lakes and in Wesley Chapel, where there's a lot of new home builds. The builders are using this GE model that has a metal grate in the back inside of the tumbler, and you'll see it's a really good area to collect a lot of lint. And we'll pull out sometimes, like an entire bag full of brown toasted lint from just in the inside of that part of the dryer. So yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
All right, so Mark, I'm so glad. It was really convenient that we're so near the studio. I'm glad you could pop in just to chime about this with the timing with Pat. So we'll share those videos and whatnot on our Facebook page as well. Thanks for jumping in.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
All right, so going back to a couple of our tips for hurricane season, because we're quickly approaching, we want to make sure we get through a few of these. And really, the insurance stuff is the stuff nobody ever talks about, right? They tell you to go buy plywood and batteries and flashlights and water and all that stuff. But what about your insurance? I think you should be looking at that first.
You should look at your insurance now, because if you're waiting until the hurricane comes, it's too late. Especially when we talked about flood insurance earlier.
Do you guys get a ton of calls right before storms? Or no?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, it definitely drives activity. And if you're waiting, as far as flood insurance is concerned, if you're going through the NFIP and you're not in an A or a V zone, or even if you are and you're not closing on a home, you have a 30-day waiting period. So
wait, what does that mean?
So that means that from the day that we issue, bind the application, you have 30 days till the policy actually takes effect.
That's why we're talking about this.
So if you see, Hurricane Adam,
so it's not going to count.
Down
you
in
can't
the Caribbean,
get insurance because they're running. 30-day wait window. Right?
And most of the carriers will, close operations the closer the hurricanes come.
Do you actually have to pay insurance for that month, or is it just post-dated?
Well, with flood, you pay it in full.
Right, but
so you have to pay.
If I'm getting insurance
today,
March 15th, but it's not actually effective until April 15th,
you still have to pay the policy.
So I have to pay for March, even though I have no benefit.
No, you're not paying for March. You're paying. It would go April.
So we'll start in April. Okay.
It just won't start till April.
Got it.
So it's still a 12-month policy. You're not paying for 12 months and only getting 11.
And that's a national rule, right?
For the NFIP, yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Adam, dive into this part right here, because I know windstorm is pretty important. Leo, when you guys are out there doing your inspection, it's one of the things you guys look at for sure, because that's how you get your discounts.
Absolutely. So wind mitigation inspection, we always, like we talked about earlier, when to go get one. Older home, newer roof, that's exactly when you need one.
That's
no-brainer. You have to get it. I've seen it save people over $1,000 in their premium. And what it does is it's an inspection where Leo, will go into the attic and he's going to talk about, how the actual roof is constructed. So, how far apart are the nails? How long are they? What sort of apparatus is connecting the trusses to the plywood? That type of stuff.
What does it matter, and how are they supposed to be connected?
Well, there's different ways to do it.
That's a Leo question.
Yeah, Adam was playing engineer.
Waiting to see if he responds.
Yeah, so there's clips, there's straps, there's something called toenails. So we think of it.
You could describe that. What's that?
Yeah, toenails are like just nails that they kind of hammer in, hit the truss, hit the wall, put two of them in, you're good to go.
Which
supposedly,
is the worst. Right, yeah.
Clips are they look like little L's, so they attach to a part of the truss and part of the wall. Straps,
that's better, right?
They go over the truss, so they actually connect on both sides. So think about it, like a clip would just be putting a bracket up against something.
I've seen those, yeah.
And a strap would actually be tying a knot around it. So of course you're going to get more uplift resistance because you've got more things holding it down.
And you have single wraps and double wraps, right?
Yeah, we very rarely see double wraps.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not commonly installed, but there is, if you put 2 wraps in, you get to the point of double wraps and your windows are going to blow out and other things are going to be destroyed before the roof will, and I've seen this before. I've seen houses where the entire roof structure, Wizard of Oz style, has been torn off and lands somewhere else. It's intact, but the whole house is destroyed because
So the roof's still attached.
the roof's still intact. It's just
Not on the house anymore.
not in the house because your building is only as strong as your weakest link. And once you end up with this negative positive air pressure and something pops like a window that instead of putting plywood up, you decided to just tape. Once that pops and that air differential happens, just all the wind starts whipping through your house, and then it just kind of just goes crazy anyway. So double
Should you
wraps.
just open the window? No.
No, because you want to keep everything airtight. Like I've seen stupid things happen. Like people will open their door to check something during the storm to see how bad it is, and you've just done that negative positive pressure thing, and then you've just collapsed your house on your top of yourself.
Oh my gosh. So that's another thing too. Like the hurricane shutters are a pretty big discount, right?
Well, so that's the thing, and you kind of alluded to it with the windows and everything. I get the call all the time, and I'm sure you go out there and tell them the hopefully good news. But when it comes to the hurricane windows, yes, there is a section on your wind mitigation that talks about that, but it is an all or nothing type of credit.
That credit.
Yeah, so let me ask about that because it has to be 100%.
all
right?
or
So
nothing,
you mean
including your garage door.
all your
and the
openings.
front door too, right?
Front door.
So how do you hurricane protect yourself if you're in the house?
What do you mean?
Well, you don't put shutters on the. Well, some people can put shutters on the front door, like you're going to put shutters on and then leave. But I'm talking like if you have the impact doors, impact windows. But I've seen so many people just replace all their windows, replace all their doors, spend $30,000-$40,000 doing this. We come out there for the wind mitt, and they don't get any credit because their garage door wasn't upgraded.
Yeah.
So they have to update the garage door to get that credit.
All your
Any
openings
opening.
need to be.
And how significant is that? Like, what are they missing?
The credit it's nowhere close to the cost of what all that stuff is. What
Okay.
they're getting is peace of mind, but other than that, I mean, the
Yeah, but
difference
if you've already
between
done all the windows, you might as well do the garage door,
the difference
right?
between having, let's say single wraps and
Double wraps.
that type of stuff on your wind mitigation, and then adding the opening protection credit. Once you're at a certain point, there's like a max discount you're getting anyways. So you're probably don't do it for insurance purposes, I would say. Now, it is good peace of mind, and I think hurricane windows and that kind of stuff are starting to be more common. It's
Right.
just
Why does the shape of the roof matter?
well, that
like Adam's just ready
He's
to run
really
with these.
trying to answer it.
I could answer it from an insurance perspective.
Okay, so
fire away.
you got to think of roofs in 2 shapes. You've got triangles, which are called gables, and you've got pyramids, which are called hips. Wind is stronger higher up. Like when they say it's 155-mile-an-hour winds at 30,000 feet, they're measuring. So wind gets stronger as you go up. Like the Empire State Building, this is an old thing we teach. It sways 100 feet constantly at the top. It's not swaying at the bottom, but it's swaying at the top because of all the wind in the movement.
And you guys wonder why I don't like heights.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's windier up there. And that's why I don't like the Skyway Bridge. I try and avoid it
Yeah,
at all
I don't
costs because
like it
it's like
either.
a little bit of wind and that thing whips. That's why they're so quick to shut it down. But when you have the triangle format, you've got roof structures like your trusses, you've got actual house structures up higher. Where if you have the hip, which is the pyramid, that's all down low. So if your wind is whipping, it can catch pieces of the triangle and tear. Where if it's more of the pyramid shape, it's harder to do.
So the best type of roof to insure
In Florida,
is?
hip.
Okay.
And you see a pretty significant discount for having a hip roof.
Which is roughly? Is there a percentage? if
It's
you
not
have
a percent. It's not really a percentage, but I mean, I saw maybe 20% on one policy.
it? Wow.
Yeah, and then I've seen houses before that are mostly a hip roof, but they have these decorative gables, or they're called dormers. And if more than 10% of your perimeter is these decorative kind of triangles, you lose the credit.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to throw a question out there really quick. It was something I ran into yesterday. We see all kinds of stuff in the field, right? I don't think you and I talked about this, Leo, but I just want your opinion on it. It's roof related. I had a customer call. They bought a home in a brand new community. Won't mention the builder or the community, but this community calls for the 3-dimensional shingles, and they put on the 2-tab side-by-side shingles instead. And we were trying to find that in our contract, and it didn't really say it. And I guess when they pulled the information from the county, it showed the 2-tab shingles, not the 3-dimensional.
Oh, it's on the plans as the 3-tab shingles?
That's what they're saying, yeah. So we'll talk about that when we come back after the break. I want to get your opinion on that. This is Tampa Home Talk. We'll be back in just a minute.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. This is Leo Cannyn with Adam Talley and Katrina Madewell. We are here talking about what you can do to make your house more hurricane protect efficient, how to get better rates on your insurance, how to make sure you have flood insurance, how to make sure you check your deductible.
30 days.
But now that we're talking about this in March, no one should be impacted by that 30-day wait for flood, and no one should be impacted by that 5 to 7 day we can't write a policy with named storm out in the Atlantic.
Because it's in the box.
Yeah.
So going back to the question real quick, can we just have a little bit of fun with this? And I know you're not an attorney, so
not an
just
attorney.
Throw that disclaimer out there. We've got some attorneys that can answer this. But just curious, does it mention it in the contract? The entire community is calling for it. It's in a CDD community.
So from what I understand, and this is the way it's always been taught to me by the lawyers, and I'm just going to quote the lawyers that
you've heard them say, so I'm not giving legal advice. You can get stricter as you go down chains of government. Mm-hmm.
You can't get looser, and the lower chains can't create a contract that invalidates something that's above it.
Oh.
So basically, the way I see this play out a lot...
The attorney would have fun with this.
Yeah, how I see this play out a lot, and with something I can talk about, is the builder decides to build something not to building code, but has told the homeowner in the contract they're going to build it a certain way. So the homeowner signs a contract, the builder builds it, it's not to building code, and the builder's like, well, a client signed it, it doesn't matter.
No, they have a waiver for their subcontractors in there. They do have that. I read that.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because you can't
undo
something that's higher up. The whole purpose of pulling a permit is for a general contractor to be over all the subs. So they can't, not a lawyer, not giving legal advice, but they can't.
But you've heard a couple of attorneys say.
Yeah, I'm involved in a lot of lawsuits on the plaintiff side. So you can't undo rules.
It's clear to. Yeah. It's a good idea to mention.
Yeah, you can't undo rules. And it's for reasons like this. It protects the end user. The end user doesn't know building code. The end user doesn't know the CDD codes and all this government, local, state regulations. They don't know all that. So that's why the rule of strictness, and I don't know what the legal rule is. I call it the rule of strictness. That's why the rule of strictness is in effect, because as you go further down, you can get stricter, not looser, so you can't be taken advantage of. Because we heard last week, the gentleman from Pasco County, the appraiser, property appraiser, he said people get taken advantage of all the time in the PACE program because contractors are just further down the chain and they keep people removed from being educated on how the program works or how to get bids. Mm-hmm. So if contractors are trying to take advantage of you, you've got to have that extra layer of protection in there because you just don't know better. And that's the rule of strictness, not a lawyer.
Sure, makes sense. All right, so let's talk about a couple properties. Now, this first one I'm going to talk about, and I want to mention it because it's been on the market for a while, and I'll tell you why. The homeowner doesn't want an open house. The address does not show on the web anywhere.
Casket?
No. Address doesn't show on the web anywhere, and it's not syndicated to any of the third-party sites. So it's only in the MLS, and it's only available for real estate agents to see, which means if you've been looking for a property, you might not have been exposed to this home. It's 8801 Rustic Trail Court, 5-bedroom, 2.5, almost 2,900 square feet, and it's at a great price of $325, and it's on a cul-de-sac right there in a golf area. I mean, this is like the heart of West Chase. It's an incredible price.
I love cul-de-sacs.
It's a little bit over our average or medium price, right, in the Tampa area, but I think with our new price, we should be able to get that property sold at that price. So if you want information on this home, any others, you need my help to help you move in, move out, move up, you can call or text us at 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. We also have a beautiful home at 834 Viscount Street in Brandon. This is almost 3,500 square feet, brand new, like new, model type home. Only $425,000. It's in a gated community, open floor plan, just beautiful, state-of-the-art water system, just Amazing home.
Conveniently located near Tally
Yes.
Insurance.
St. Charles, you have to go
You're
check it
gonna buy it?
out.
You're gonna buy it, Adam?
Go check it out and give us an estimate on the
Yeah, time to
homeowners
get you out of
insurance.
Channelside into your own house.
So the St. Charles place is already gone. This home that was on the lake in East Lake
nice.
near the Hard Rock, it's already under contract. That baby was snapped up last weekend. And Oyster Shell Trail, this one, actually, it's not even been reduced yet in MLS, but we're reducing it to $325. We're starting to see some of these price reductions, right, with the shifting market.
Is that a short sale still?
This is a short sale, 9011 Oyster Shell Trail in Odessa. Again, this is 0.65 of an acre on a huge, beautiful ski lake, and it's almost 2,100 square feet for only $325 on a skiable lake. Good luck finding that in Odessa, anywhere else. And you're getting that information ahead of it being online. So grab it before it's done. We rented the home on Livingston, and we've got some new ones coming up. So we got another one on Greeley Court in Meadow Point and Wesley Chapel. 3-bedroom, 2-bath is going to be only $225. Trying to get them into a new build before we activate that one. And then Alafaya Ridge Road is a little bit stalled, but that's a great property. Again, in your neck of the woods, near Tally Insurance. It's technically got a Riverview insurance address, but it's a little bit closer to Brandon. Now, this property is for somebody that has all the toys, right? Because it's over an acre of property. The house is really nice. They just painted everything. New kitchen, $325, and it's got all kinds of covered everything for your toys. So jet skis, RVs, anything like that. It's a great place.
We insure toys too, so
Yes.
that's a good one.
Yes. And a new one we have coming really soon in Lake Pageant East is on 23516 Bel Air Loop. And then that's a 3-2, almost 1,500 square foot for only $225. The view on this property is amazing. Like, we're going to have to go back and get night shots because it's just so pretty. And it's over a quarter of an acre, really, really nice property. If you want something in a deed-restricted community with minimal restrictions, so you can still have some of those toys behind the fence, it's a great community for that. And a brand new one, this one's coming. It's going to go live while we're at our picnic in the park on Saturday. And I think we'll be doing an open house on this one over the weekend, likely on Sunday. And that's 24442 Breezy Oak Court in Lutz. Almost 2,000 square feet, only 300. This is right by like all the new construction stuff. It's in Oak Grove, just a couple minutes from the mall and I-75. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. I would buy it.
What a steal.
I would totally buy this home. It's going to sell quick. It won't be available next Friday. When we come back, I'll bank on it.
Maybe you'll buy it and it'll be a rental next
I
Friday.
thought about it. I don't even like the traffic coming up Collier. I really, really thought about it. All right, any last-minute tips or things we have to say because we're running out of time?
It's never too early to prepare for hurricane season. The biggest money-saving tip I can give you this week is contact the tree trimmers now to get your tree trims for hurricane season. They're starving for work. You'll get your better deals.
And we've got a great tree guy. Like, I would recommend him in a second. So if you just text tree to 813
377-2775. Text your tree.
Just tree.
813-377-27. That reminds
You love this, but we know what they're looking for.
Yeah, I actually owe you a box of cookies, by the way.
You do? For what?
While you were gone, we had fun with because the title of the show was Educate about the call-in number.
Yeah.
So we spent 20 minutes talking about the call-in number. So